You have a little average white band going on there.
What up, everybody? It's your girl, Melissa. Whoop, whoop. It's Friday, y'all. It's Friday.
Can I try that? Whoop, whoop.
You gotta do the whoop, whoop. you gotta do the whole hand movement.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll let you just roll with the intro. Right up.
Yo, I have the amazing, right here, the man of the hour, Rob Mullins, with us. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Mullins is great.
Okay.
I've heard it said so many ways. Mullins, I've heard that. And then in Japan, it's like, Labu Mariner. And you did wonderful. That's
Yay!
perfect. That was perfect.
I did something right today, y'all. I get a round of applause for that.
Absolutely you do.
So how are you today?
I'm actually doing great. I mean, I came back into Denver after being in LA through all this insanity this last couple of months.
Yes.
And, you know, of course, I got the invitation from you to do your show over Facebook, so I had to hop in my car and drive directly to the station.
Yes. And I took my opportunity, guys. I was like, I'm going in.
Yeah, she basically was just like sending me these little messages, and I looked at her picture and I was like, how am I going to say no to doing this show? I mean, plus I have a new single coming out tomorrow, so we're tying it all together.
Yes. So, you know, he was like, I'm going to play this little song for you. I was like, okay. So, for our viewers who might not know you, because Ignite is still kind of fairly new. So, for our Ignite
I have a story about this, too.
Oh, Ignite.
I have a story about this, too, because, you know, basically I live in Venice Beach in California.
Yes.
And it's a lot of people that like to just, you know, do this a lot.
Yeah.
So, when you hit me up and said, hey, why don't you come do the show and promote, I said, cool. So I'm hanging out with my friends, and I said, I just got this invitation from this DJ, hostess, like VJ girl in Denver to do her show. And they said, what's the show called? And I said, it's called Ignite with Melissa. And they're like, Ignite? All right, is it a show about weed? Cool. We're going to watch. And I was like, no, it's not about weed. It's definitely not about weed.
Not today.
No. So, but yeah, I watched a couple episodes of different things, and you've got all kinds of cool guests on there, and it's really nice to meet you and get a chance to dive in. How long have you been doing your show?
So actually, I will be coming up on a year. My year anniversary is coming up, y'all.
All right. Does that get another hand move? The whoop
yes.
thing?
Woo woo! Well, I could do the sideways. Woo woo. Okay, hold on.
Alrighty then, as Jim Carrey would say. So yeah, it's good to be here. I like being back in Denver. You know, I'm a product of the Denver Public Schools, so my musical journey began in Colorado. I started making my albums here, and the fifth album that I made, we were sending out LPs, and that was like, I think before you were born or close to around the time that you, as an angel, landed amongst the Coloradoans.
Oh, did you
and I have angels here in my producer toolbox. I have to find them. But it's one of those things where I didn't really expect what was going to happen to my life, because we were just packing up LPs, you know, 12-inch LPs. And in those days, what you worried about was you got to mail the LP to the Las Vegas radio station, and you're hoping that it's like not melted.
Yeah. You're like, in this weather it might have melted, right?
By the time it hits Vegas. And the crazy thing is that I had signed all these and done personal letters off a NPR mailing list, and you know, I had my fingers crossed, but because, you know, it's expensive to make albums and it's expensive business. And then I get this phone call from this friend of mine named Michael Etheridge, and he goes, Rob, I'm at the Grammys, and they just announced your song Making Love as nominated for Best Instrumental Composition. And I'm like, and this guy's a practical joker. And I'm like, no, you're messing with me. He goes, no, man, I'm here. I can't believe it. And then I'm thinking to myself, how did my album make it through all of those places? It's like a journey that you start out, right? When you just, but music has that ability to find its way around into the right hands.
Yes.
Somehow. So I said, okay, great. And he brought me the program, you know, and I looked at it and I was just stunned because I wasn't part of the Recording Academy. I was still a Denver club piano player at that time. And I thought, you know, this is really going to help.
Yeah.
Because once you get that distinction of being Grammy nominated, it just puts you in this place with all these other people, you know. So it's pretty cool how all that came together. And now this new single I'm putting out tomorrow is album 39.
Okay.
39 albums.
Nice.
So I've been doing it a while.
Yes, that's amazing.
Been doing it a while.
That's so awesome. And so that's how your journey got started, was through Denver Public Schools.
Yeah, the DPS had, you know, a real variety in those days of its styles of music teachers. Like, did you like your high school teachers, or did you have a favorite? And then there was those ones where you're just like, oh no, not that one.
I had my favorite.
Right. Yeah, and they moved me out of Kennedy High School through this busing program where I hated that band director because he hated jazz music.
Oh.
And, you know, don't be hating on jazz. I mean, be open-minded, right? And they moved me to Lincoln High, which was a whole lot different of a vibe. You know, Federal and Evans, and it was much more of like a hodgepodge and a melting pot. And that band director was the guy that created all these things. They started a citywide jazz band. I would take these little charts that I wrote and stuff into the class, and after class he would go, oh, that's a C13 plus 11 chord going to a F minor 11. And I go, oh, thank you, Mr. Fred, right? And we toured all over the place.
Yeah.
Like 16, 17, we were playing in Vegas, we were playing the Mobile, Alabama Jazz Festival, and we were just, and this was all sponsored through the schools. Like, the parents didn't have to come up with,
oh, that's nice.
you know, yeah, because you know, right, if your kid turns 12 and you're doing soccer, it's like, oh, that'll be $11,000.
They will only have you take another mortgage out on your house.
Right, and then you also have to drive to Fort Collins in the winter.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, it's just nutty how that all works. So
all in your Prius.
I don't fit in a Prius. I mean, you know, I can't get in those cars. Like, physically, I just can't make it in there. But yeah, my journey started with the DPS, and then after the nomination, then I moved to Los Angeles, and then I just started meeting all these people because I had this status now just from doing all the hard work.
Yes.
You know, and spending all that money. So.
And so, how was the Grammys?
Well, gosh, they've been around since 1957. So, which Grammys do you mean?
So the first one that DPS led you to the Grammys.
Well, I wasn't at it. Michael, my friend, was at it.
Oh, okay.
So then, what happens is that if you pay attention to the friends that you make and you become part of the network, then they kind of rope you in.
Yeah.
It's like church.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like, you know, oh, I met this person through the Recording Academy because they worked at a radio station and they also are a bass player.
Yeah.
And they really loved my album, and they'd say, hey man, the Academy's having like a mixer down in Hollywood, so why don't you pile on and come on? So I started doing stuff like that. And then the people I started meeting were insane.
Yeah.
Like the guy that was mixing all the Beatles music. I met that guy, and then I met a lot of rap and hip-hop producers and managers and agents and promoters and record company people, and so I just started building my network.
Yeah.
And then the big thing happened is they sent me an invitation to become a voting member.
Oh, nice.
Right. Ooh, that's so fancy.
Ooh, the voting member.
Uh-huh.
Oh, what is the voting member?
The voting member core is I'm honored to be part of it because they have to select you.
Yeah.
Like, you could put out 20 albums and send them out all over the place and send them to Academy people, and they could still just go, yeah, well, we'll leave you at associate member for another few years. And they reached out to me and said, we'd like you to be part of the board of people that vote on the awards. So it's a pretty big responsibility.
Yeah.
Because now, I mean, back in the day when it was mostly controlled by those, you know, the biggies like BMG and Warner's and EMI, there weren't that many albums.
Yeah.
But now that everybody's got a studio in their basement,
yes.
I mean, last year for Song of the Year, there were 113,305 songs to listen to for one category.
Wow, that's insane.
And your ears get tired.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, and now we're kind of in the midst of all of that craziness that goes with the first round submissions and stuff. And the Grammys have a lot of Facebook groups that are private.
Yeah.
And so, that's where you present your material to the other voting members and stuff.
Okay.
And then you get to know all that whole tier of all these other people. Like I met country people that are great this year, and I met new age guys that are just brilliant, and there's this great Puerto Rican band. I don't remember their name right now.
Yeah.
But they're doing the whole Las Vegas thing, like the Brat Pack thing of the Frank Sinatra stuff. And there's 3 of them, and they're Puerto Rican, and they're like awesome. All 60. And then they have this huge band behind them, and they're hilarious. And they're so good.
Yeah.
They're really good. So I'd have to say, of all the big moments in my life in music, becoming part of the Recording Academy is probably one of the biggest.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because you don't have to have a college degree.
Yeah.
They accept every religious belief, every ethnicity, every level of intelligence or whatever, and they're not exclusive. So all you have to do is create amazing music and then submit. It's harder to submit now because you have to go through another member now, but I just found that was like a home. You get a community. It's a great community.
Yes, and we love community. I'm always talking about community.
Well, you're the kind of girl that, you probably already are ready to go out and hang out in a giant community right now. Because you've been in here for 15 minutes. You seem like a really sociable type of person,
I'm sociable, but I'm like introvert, extrovert combined together. I think you could be both, right? Because there's some days that I'm just like, I just want to go home and do nothing. And then there's other days that I'm like, oh, hey, let's go.
Right. Well, it took me this long in my sound effects library to find this, because we were talking earlier on about the day that you as an angel came down here, but...
Yes. Oh, here, hold on.
Turn it up.
I'm going to turn it up. Y'all ready for this?
Okay. Okay, that's so for... That's for when you came to the earth.
That's when I came, guys, and back in 1983.
Ooh.
I graced you with my presence.
Isn't it interesting though how, you can be really introverted and like really quiet. Like right now, one of the things I really need a lot is quiet.
Yeah. Right,
because I've been commuting LA, Denver, Denver, LA, and I've been making that drive since the 80s when I first was getting going out there. And now, like, I just drive straight past Vegas because it's a wasteland. It's really weird. The vibe is really weird. And, I have friends that are there, but, dude, the vibe is weird. My friends, you are great. The station there is great, but the vibe in Vegas is weird. Because seeing it all just, like, freaking empty, it's the weirdest thing. And I'll drive through at, like, 3 in the morning, and I'm just like, whoa, come on, Mesquite, Nevada. But I like being out in those mountains in Utah, where there's just no one, and there's no cars, and there's amazing Grand Canyon-ish stuff for like 360-degree view for 50 miles, and just the feeling of that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll post those little road videos and stuff on Facebook and go, we can't see Rob Mullins being outdoors. He's a big-time Hollywood guy. And I said, man, you have to have the balance in your life.
Yeah.
Because the show business and all the excitement, that's so great.
Yeah.
But it'll also wear you out.
But you're from Denver.
Well, it's a complicated story because I originally grew up in Ontario, California.
Okay.
So my dad got a job out here working at the Denver Post. He was a newspaper guy.
Okay.
And he was working at the LA Times.
Oh.
So what happened, I have a present for you. I keep forgetting to give it to you.
Oh.
All right, so I'm not proposing or anything.
Oh.
Because I figured you're already taken, but I did do my research, and I know
Come on. Oh, Mr.
This is the thing that's supposed to get her going.
Oh, here we go. Come on, somebody. Here we got the music for this.
This is from my show to your show.
Thank you. I have been blessed with the dew.
Dew.
Come on, somebody. You better throw in those emojis in there with them clapping hands.
I know. I did my research, but yeah. So my dad was a newspaper guy, and he came out here and was trying to kind of get to a quieter life because in a big car crash, and I had a lot of problems in LA. I was in a car crash in Denver when I got here, but I had problems back there. And high school was like super tumultuous and all that. So I really, now when I'm back in LA, I go back to my old hometown of Ontario, and I still eat at the spaghetti place because it's been there since 1945. And, you know, that's an amazing restaurant. It's called Vince's Spaghetti House. And, you know, for me, when I travel, it's all about the food. I don't know, is it like that for you?
Yes.
High five, dude.
Yes.
It's all about the food.
Ontario, I've been there.
Yep.
Really nice.
It's nice.
And every time I go, I'm like, Marie Callender's, I have to hit the Marie Callender's.
The Marie Callender's
restaurant.
is great.
Yes. And like the big pot pie.
I know, man.
The
That's the one.
pot pies.
They got it figured out.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and, you know, so I'll be like, okay, now what am I going to do? Somebody will say, are you driving Los Angeles to Denver? And I go, no, I'm going Vince's Spaghetti to Las Delicias.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing. I mean, I eat at Las Delicias so much that all of my masks smell like green chili and cheese from that burrito.
Like, yes, love it.
Yeah.
They're so good too.
They're so good. They're so good. So, I mean,
what is one of your favorite restaurants from in between? Because, you know, there's there and there.
Right.
You have to have somewhere in between.
You know how I handle it now is I got smart because food has gotten so expensive. Yes. And then plus, well, I wish I had some of my road pictures, like these driving pictures, because they're a little bit terrifying. Actually, I'm glad I don't have them because they would scare the bejesus out of people. Because some of these cities now, like Green River, Utah, it's like a frickin' horror movie set in one part of town because there's just no one there.
But maybe it inspires you, and then you start playing the piano right there.
Yeah.
You're like,
No, because if I stop there, I'm going to get killed by a coyote.
We don't want that happening.
So what I started doing is I bought this cool cooler, and I started packing really efficiently because the coolers now are super great.
Yeah.
So I put deli lunch meat in there, and I put cheddar cheese, and I put yogurt, and I put water. And I put V8 in there, and then I have a separate thing that's like the Fritos and the crackers and the soup and the bowls and all that. And I just stop and cook.
Yeah.
I mean, and just make sandwiches and hang out and look at the, elk going by, or look at the coyotes from the mountaintop or whatever. And you save a lot of money traveling like that. But you got to be really smart. I want to like smoked salmon in there.
Oh, yes.
You like salmon?
Salmon. Oh, salmon's my favorite.
I'm a smoked salmon person, and the trick to it is if you don't have the right kind of cooler, you're screwed because you have to have these new thermonuclear Tommy Bahama, whatever that thing is. I bought it here in Denver.
You have to have a Yeti.
It's like that's the good
like
one, right?
that.
But this is the copy of the best of the Yetis, and it's only $29.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's at this outdoorsy place down University, which name I can't remember, but man, this cooler, I had deviled eggs in there. Oh. And they lasted 6 days in a cooler. In 100-degree everything. I mean, it lasted 6 days.
That means that's a good cooler.
That's a really good cooler. So
shout out to the coolers out
Shout out to the cooler people. Give them a whoop whoop.
Woo woo. See, I'm gonna be on Rob's next single. When that little piano. Woo woo, and then I just kept going.
Well, I thought it would be actually what I was trying to talk to you about a couple of weeks ago. One night is that because of the COVID thing, I've recorded a lot of music, and my whole year of all my gigs was all canceled. I basically just lost all of my money, and it's not been easy. It's not been easy for me, not easy for my band. Not easy for my friends, but I'm sitting on this mountain of amazing music.
Yes.
So I'm putting out this single. Is the Beethoven one there yet? Oh, good job, Henry. We got the slides rolling. That's nice.
Yes.
I love it. So I'm putting out this Beethoven thing, but I have another one that's a cha-cha.
Oh.
And then every time I would play it, then you would pop up on my Facebook somehow, and I'd be like, I need to get this girl to do the cover.
Oh, I will be there. You said. He gave me a gift, y'all. Of course I'm going to be there. I'd be there regardless, but now I'm really there.
All right, cool.
You heard it here first. He can't go back on his word.
No, well, I mean.
And then I might even, when I pop up on the cover, somehow I'll have that sound effect where I could be like, woo! Or I might have to do the, since we got the cha-cha in there.
Yeah, well, what's so crazy about it is that when you stop being a visual person,
Yeah.
and it's really hard to be a man and stop being a visual person looking at you because you're so pretty, you know.
Thank you.
But I have plexiglass, so I'm gonna go get that right now. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But musicians and producers are really kind of born in a different orientation to the world.
Yeah.
We're born with this audio, with this orientation. Our orientation is sound. So if there's like a cricket 60 feet away at night, I can go, okay, that cricket is about 60 feet to the east and it's about 6 feet south. And the note that it's playing is between an A flat on the high leg and a G. And that's keeps me up all night because I have that kind of a brain. You know, I can listen to an airplane fly over and I can tell you what chord that is.
Ah.
And it has the Doppler effect at the end.
Yeah.
So with audio, you're in a completely different orientation to the world. And I think the people that do really well in music are really audio oriented instead of visual. But the visual thing is so much bigger in music now than it ever used to be.
Yeah.
Because there was a song back when, back in the day called "Video Killed the Radio Star." And I saw your show on One Hit Wonders too.
Oh yes, the One Hit Wonders, y'all. Come on.
That was pretty good, man. But yeah, audio has always been something that I like working in, and I've got a lot of audio built up here. So I'm going to be releasing different singles instead of the full albums because of the whole virus problem.
Yeah.
And well, how has that impacted you? Because I know you work here and then you work at another place too.
Yeah, we keep the other workplace discretionary, you know, because we don't want no psychos.
Right, but isn't it weird having to wear a mask all the time?
You know, at first it was a little hard, but I don't know. I'm one who adapts easily, so things don't really bother me as much. So I think it's everyone's perspective. Like, I think you just have to have a different outlook on things.
Right.
Because I think if you dwell like on the negative, of course you're going to keep thinking negative thoughts and negative things.
Sure.
And of course, like, none of us want to wear it. I don't want to wear it, you know, but it's like, just wear it and get it over with, you know. And it's like, you can sit there and keep dwelling on something that you can never change. You can't change for right now. So why dwell on that? And just move forward and live a happy, peaceful. Don't let it ruin your peace. Don't let it take your peace.
Yeah, see, that's, I think both of us really have that outlook in common.
Yeah.
Because when everything started to fall apart, which was like around in March or so, then what got to be really weird for me is I had all these people calling me as like, I'm the guy that's going to fix their problem. I'm going to know how to quell the virus. I'm going to know how to get them a job when the studio is shut down. I'll know where they can move to if they need a new place to live. I really got flooded by all this stuff, and I didn't know what to do because being a musician, you're in survival mode your whole life.
Yeah.
Because it's like this, you know?
Yeah.
It's this kind of thing. Like, you're a millionaire, then you're homeless, then you're a millionaire, then you're homeless again, then you make money, then the financial crash kills you in 2008, and then now you go all the way to the top, and then it's, the virus, and then the looting. So when these people would reach out to me, and I know a lot, I know like 100,000 people personally now,
Yeah.
because I've been doing this a long time, as I just found it so interesting that some people would come to me with this attitude of, my life is screwed, it's the end times, everything's done, I'm going to kill myself, I'm just going to drink until every night until I'm dead. I would have those calls.
Yeah.
And, I just finished teaching 4 hours of Zoom online, and I'm kind of tired. Can you call someone else and tell them that you want to die? Because how am I supposed to fix that? But it's the orientation, I think, of people during a crisis that makes the difference. It's like, crisis comes, well, you have to make that choice. Make the choice that you're going to be happy. Make the choice that you're going to get through it. Have some faith in yourself and just be smart about it and keep on moving. Because when people get stopped, that's really bad.
Yeah.
When they're not in motion,
Yeah.
that part,
Too, and isolation is just really bad. I think for most of the world right now, you correct me if I'm wrong, but isolation is bad. Like, you don't want to keep so isolated so much, and I think sometimes, as artists, like, creative artist, it's hard to get out of your isolation because you're so used to being like around everyone, then coming to like there, and then you don't know how to be creatively outlet. Well, some people don't. Outlet. So then they start thinking like all these thoughts. And like,
people wig out, and you know the ones that I noticed were the ones that wigged out the most about it were the ones that didn't have multiple income streams, like the ones that all they did is play drums at such and such.
Yeah.
Or you know, all they did is teach at piano store number 1 or whatever, and you know, I've had to just do all kinds of music related stuff. Like I have a music publishing company I started in high school that you know, publishes my songs, and then I'm a studio producer. I do recording sessions. I'm a book author.
Yes.
I write educational books, and I teach over Zoom, and I have all of these different kinds of income streams. So for me, it was like, okay, all the live gigs are going to go away, but I had already been teaching using Skype for 9 years.
Yeah.
And I had even been trying to get California schools to move to that, and they wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys are going to save yourselves a lot of problems if you move to these new technologies, and they wouldn't do it. And now they have no choice.
Yeah.
You know, they could have followed my advice and, you know, save themselves a lot of headaches.
Yeah.
Because when you get people together, it's really great. But in today's climate, you get people together, and it can really go bad. Because, you know, oh, well, this person doesn't like this person, so now there's a lawsuit, and then, you know, nobody's masked up, and you tried to this, and you tried to that, and it's like, it's a mess. So in a way, the internet, for me, is more comfortable than live interaction, because I've just been doing it since the internet was invented. In some ways, I prefer it.
And he likes it because he can end all meeting at one time.
That's right. I have control of the red button. And, you know, there are those days when you're just like, oh man, I just can't stand this, and you hit the button and you just like walk out because you're just done, and then you have to go back and email and say, I don't know what happened, man, my computer broke. You know?
or you just let the battery run low, and then it just shuts it off. And
no, that's a girl trick. That's a girl trick. That's so. I know that trick. Oh, I don't know my cell phone battery. Like, no,
you're like, don't lie.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
You're like, I'm outside your house. No.
Well, that's where I got to thinking about the female self-defense radio TV show toolkit that I'm going to get you.
Yes, he's going to come back on, and we're going to show you this amazing toolkit. And Anamia, we're going to let you know once we find out about the cooler's name. It'll come back to us.
Oh, yeah, we'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out, and we'll let you know where you can buy it and what the cooler's name is.
The cooler is incredible, and it's so cheap. Because the pricey one you talked about,
the
that's
Yeti,
that's
like $500.
Yeah, no. It's Tommy Bahama. It's like $29, and that's a pretty nutty little store they have too. It's on South University. What is it? It's a one-word name, and you go in there, and they've got all the crazy Mountain Man stuff.
Yeah.
And you know they have these like knives on sale for $5, and you pull out the knife, and you're like, and then and I thought, well, I could use this to cut cheddar cheese on the road. I'll get me one of these, and I go up to the cash register to, I got my cooler and I got my knife and this and that, and the girl that's there like backs away from the cash register. She goes, I'm not getting anywhere near one of those knives because one of our cashiers like got stabbed last week with that knife, and I'm not going to sell it to you. And I was like, okay, can I get a guy over here? Let me get a guy. And the guy's like, right away, sir. How many knives do you need?
He's like, let me give you 10.
Yeah, so it's, I don't remember the name of that store, but anyway.
Yeah, when we figure it out, we'll let you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man.
So, yes, let us know about your whole computer producing. You got all the whole new shebang on here.
Yeah, I was going to show you because I noticed from time to time you're kind of like singing along with some of the rappy hip hop people that come in.
I try.
So I've got
Yo, girl.
I picked up a
Drop the beat, Rob.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
You might have a ways to go.
I got a long ways to go, but at least I'm out there trying. Come on.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's a big part of it, is that you have to be willing to put yourself out there. And, that's another part of the whole recording artist thing, is that it's like, well, you can sit at home and just go, and the excuses of the people that, they own like 50 drum sets.
Yeah.
But they haven't ever put out one beat.
Yes.
And but they're going to go to the Guitar Center and they're going to buy the 51st drum set, and then they're going to blame the drum set. Yeah. See, at least you're like, cool, man, I'm going to give it a shot.
I'm like, you know what? You get what you get. Your girl right here, Slick Bliss, dropping the beat with Rob today.
Yeah, and I have this one called Breakbox here, and for some reason I'm just batting zero pulling these things up here, but. There's one. Oh. Just kind of turn it up and leave it up a minute.
Here we go. Can you hear it?
Right. And just go ahead and leave it up. But see, in the toolbox now. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh. Oh yeah. Oh. Well, hey, how are you? I know with my Mountain Dew. You holler at me.
This is Carla, by the way.
Come on, Carla, sing, girl. Oh, Carla's on my vibe. Come
Carla's
on, Carla.
cool, right? Carla's got it going on. She's good. It's an interesting thing, though, because when I was coming up, they did not have... let me hit you with this real quick. Go ahead.
Oh, here we go, y'all. Come on.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's Rob Mullins on the computer. At it once again. It's your girl, Melissa on the fly. Saying shout out to all Ignite. Hey.
Whoop, whoop.
Come on, Rob. All right. You ready to sign me? No.
Yeah. Well, the fun thing about it, Melissa, is that now the technology is incredible. Obviously, I have these amazing, everything's in tune and everything's recorded perfect, and I can pull it all up on a screen, and I don't have to, stand outside the Denver Symphony Hall going, please, orchestra, record one C major chord for me, and I'll give you $20,000. All that's already happened, and all these different, ethnicities and styles, it's all right here in the box. So, as an audio person, I'm always thrilled to go to work.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do today? I mean, this is just going to be great. And the trick to being a producer, though, is knowing how to combine all these elements.
Yeah.
Because, if you don't have the right, it's like being a chef. So if you're trying to make green chili and pork sauce, you're not putting any Chef Boyardee in there.
Mm-mm.
No, and if you're trying to make
and no one will be swiping right.
I think we should do a single on you and just call I Swiped You Left. Time after time. To the left. To the left. We're never going to the right.
One back, one down. Two ups.
Yeah, it's just fun. I mean, one of the people on my show, and I should tell people about my show that I started.
Yes, let us know.
It's called the Planet Mullins podcast, and here's our theme song.
Oh, let me turn it back on. Here we go. It's because we get that feedback.
First go right, then go left. First go right, then go left. First go right, then go left.
And that was a joke, you guys. That's not really our theme song.
It is. He's like, all right, bring it on.
That's just a square dancing guy. But my show is called Planet Mullins Podcast. It's a YouTube show. And as part of the whole COVID thing, a lot of these people who are calling me were, saying, hey, man, I lost my whole touring. My world tours are all gone. I'm sitting here at home. I'm, not happy. I'm going batty and stuff. And I just thought, well, here's how I can help people is I could just start my own show.
Yeah.
And I just call all these frickin' multi-platinum Grammy people that I know.
Yeah.
And just interview them over Zoom because they don't have to be at their house.
Yeah.
Or anywhere. And I started doing these shows, and man, people have been responding so great to it. And some of the studios and musicians that I've featured are starting to get work.
Oh, nice.
As a result of being on the show.
That's awesome.
So, that's kind of a thing that has worked out really fun for me because I learn all this about these amazing producers. Like Preston Glass is going to be on September 17th.
Oh.
And he was
When are your shows? On Thursdays?
They're on Thursdays or Fridays.
Thursdays or Fridays, okay.
Right. And Preston works with everybody, man. George Benson and Whitney Houston was like a really good friend. He discovered Kenny G.
Nice.
Back in the day, and he's worked with, Angela Bofill and just this huge list of R&B people.
Yeah.
And I was one of those people that I met early on in LA, and he's had me in his phone book, his Rolodex ever since.
That's awesome.
We just 2 weeks ago recorded this new sax player from Arizona, and we've been doing sessions. Now we have to do it all remote now.
Yeah.
And that's what I miss. The group thing that I miss was the recording sessions because everybody's back from a world tour.
Yeah.
And you're all in Hollywood. You got the finest engineers, and they're bringing in deli sandwiches, and you're like, "Yeah, man, I was Switzerland. Oh, that's cool. What are we doing today?
Yeah.
We're doing R&B with Preston Glass. Cool." And now it takes longer.
Yeah.
Because we're all having to do it one at a time, separate, and we don't get like those free deli trays.
Yeah, see, you guys are messing up on the deli trays. Come on.
Man, I love having the deli trays at a classy place.
Yeah.
If you get somewhere like Fargo, North Dakota, and you're playing at the Holiday Inn Lounge, that deli tray is kind of sad. And that's where your Tommy Bahama cooler
comes in.
That's where your cooler comes in. Absolutely. So yeah, it's called Planet Mullins Podcast. The address is youtube.com/planetmullins, and there's 8 shows up there now.
Yeah.
And I just started it like 3 weeks ago, and it's really going great.
Awesome. And so speaking of people that you've worked with, Bruce Willis. Let us know about the whole Bruce Willis.
Wow. Well, how much time do we have left in the show? We can't. We could fill 2 hours with Bruce because I think that this is just my opinion, and I'm not really associated with him now. This was like back during when he and Demi were having the split time.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because did you ever hear of Planet Hollywood?
Yes.
Okay, so Planet Hollywood was started by Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that was their worldwide promotion thing. Because they were all like so rich at the time. They said, "Well, we're just going to build these awesome things, Planet Hollywood, all over the world, and we'll go there and we'll have celebrity parties, and people will love our restaurant, and we'll put, Sting's base and the one in London, and we'll put, Freddie Mercury's jacket at the one in Dublin," and they were doing all this. It was great. So I get this call from the guitar player in that band one day, and he goes, "Mullins, you have a passport." Like, he doesn't say, there's this gig and it's going to be with Bruce Willis. Wow. He just wants to know right away if I have a recent passport. Because if I don't, he's going to say, "Okay, just checking," and hang up.
Yeah.
And go right to the next keyboard player. But I was trying to keep my passport up there. I said, "Yeah, I got a passport." He says, and this is on a Sunday, and he says, "What are you doing on Tuesday? Like, can you fly to Paris on Tuesday?" And I said, "For what?" And he says, "Bruce Willis's keyboard player, who's Teddy Andriotis, also plays at Guns N' Roses."
Ah.
So Guns ended up with this gig, and Teddy had to bail on Bruce.
Ah.
So just, I was lucky enough I knew the liaison guy, and I said, "Oh, Teddy's going out with guns. Okay, that's great. I'll do whatever it is. And he says, good, because we don't have time to audition you. Nothing. We got to get these visas together because we're going to Switzerland and we're going to Russia and we're going to Dublin and we're going to London and we're going to Dubai.
Ooh.
And I'm like, yay!
See, that's where the woo-woo comes in.
Exactly. Because I learned when I was really young that I liked to travel. My mom always used to say, man, I just want to fly a plane and travel all over the world. And son, you got to figure out how to go around the world. And I was thinking, okay, but most of my relatives were, yeah, we'll go travel. We'll take the Winnebago down to Disney World in Orlando, and we'll park it 10 miles out of town. It only costs us $8,000 for a week. I'm thinking, I'm not going to pay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay. How do I figure out free vacations for decades? Get to where you're good enough to be a world touring musician.
Yeah.
Because I never had to pay to go anywhere.
That's amazing.
And Bruce was the best boss I ever had. He was getting crushed in the media at that time, and he was so nice to the band. He was the best paying, the nicest guy. And, you know, we would get off of the plane someplace, and there'd be all the paparazzi and all the stuff going on. And he got a lot of negative press because there was that problem in the relationship. And he didn't ever bring that up to the band. He kept it completely separate, which I thought was really professional.
Yeah.
You know, because some band leaders, they bring all of that stuff in and they drag you into all of their mucky muck, and I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah.
I just want to go, wow, I just met the star of the Swiss ice skating team and I have a date for tomorrow night.
Like, yes.
Yes. Let's do it. So I really enjoyed working with him as much as I possibly could. He was probably the biggest of all the gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you worked with Brad. You did a wedding.
Oh, Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Yes.
The Pitt.
Yes, Brad the Pitt.
I said the Pitt.
Brad the Pitt. Well, this was another one of those situations that for young musicians that are watching or whatever, you know, you have to, and my guests on my show have been telling me the same thing, you have to, like, create a network of people. You have to be prepared musically. You have to be prepared personally. You have to be prepared mentally so that, you know, okay, I'm going to go. I got this call from somebody in that same network, and he said, we got a big wedding gig to do. And I said, what is it? And they said, Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston. And I, you know, Friends was like a big show at the time and everything, and Brad was huge, and he still is, and this and that. And I'm like, I'm down. I am in. Put me on that list.
Yeah.
Right? And so that entire experience was incredible because the level of celebrity side issues.
Yeah.
Like, we were rehearsing at Marcy Carsey's house. She was a producer of The Cosby Show. And she had this huge house with an empty lot and her house out in Malibu. And they had to hire an Israeli security force to protect Brad.
Oh, wow.
And to protect Jennifer for like the wedding rehearsals and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're coming in and we had to sign all these documents and we've been through metal detectors and we're all just going, whoa, what the heck? We're driving out PCH going, man, this is exciting. This is like being in a James Bond movie. And then we look up on the side of the hill and they had actually put security people up there with giant foil reflectors, and they're pointing the foil reflectors at the helicopters to blind them so that they couldn't take pictures of what we were doing.
Nice. That's cool.
That's
interesting.
That's the Israeli way of like, burn your eyes out.
Like, it's like us with the magnifier with the ants. You know?
Oh, you used to do that too?
That's bad.
You and I share a lot of cruel things together.
I know.
That's just only scratching the tip of the surface. I'm sure.
That's, you did an NDA.
So yeah, I mean, that was incredible. The Gypsy Kings were also on that. And Melissa Etheridge was a friend of theirs.
That's
so
awesome.
she was on that. And Jennifer Aniston is Greek, and her whole family is Greek, and they brought the whole family from Greece.
Yeah.
So we had about a 90-minute break, and it was a 7-hour-long gig. We played music for 7 hours.
Crazy.
We had a 90-minute break in the middle where all the Greek people came out on the dance floor, and the Gypsy Kings just played gypsy Greek stuff. And we're sitting in the back, and I'm going, Oh my God, I just met Elizabeth Shue. Oh my God, I just met Courtney Cox. Oh my God, I just met David Schwimmer. Oh my God, I just met Brad Pitt. Wow. And you know, that was all great until the end. And you know what the end was?
What happened?
Divorce.
Aww.
So then I couldn't get a wedding gig after that. Oh, you played for Brad Pitt, and that didn't work out.
See, it was the Pitts.
It was the Pitts.
See, I told you.
No more wedding gigs for me for a while, but now I hear they're getting back together somehow. So.
I heard a rumor about that.
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes you never know because you hear from here to here.
Right. Well, I don't really see him now, but he was another one of those guys that was just super nice.
Yeah.
You know,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and whenever I see the media portraying people in these negative ways, I really try and just kind of zoom out of the whole picture and look at the whole thing, and then I don't judge what's going on, snap judgment. Like, I'm not a snap judge guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a judgy guy anyway. I wasn't brought up that way because my mom was a church piano player, and her thing was, judge not lest ye be judged.
Yes, sir.
And he
you hear that? You hear that?
And he who hasn't sinned cast the first stone. And that's the same thing with this like whole attitude that's going on the internet right now and all over the place with all the stuff that's happening. And I saw these negative things about lots of celebrities, and then I was fortunate that I could, you know, talk to them or talk to their people or their manager or their family. And they're like, the media is just making all this junk up.
Yeah.
They just make it up.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's right.
No.
You know.
And that's the thing with media. It's so good, and then it's so bad. Like, it could be really good and powerful, really bad and powerful. So you always get both worlds in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, it's like that. I mean, so how did you come into being in radio and TV and all that? Give me a chance to drink my drink.
You know, they did the same thing to me. You know, I get the phone call like, hey, what are you doing today? You want to go to the Botanic Gardens? Oh, sure, okay. And then, you know, like, well, how do I dress? What am I supposed to do? Oh, it's just something casual. I show up. Everyone's, like, you know, ready to, like, go to a wedding. Had to call them, like, what am I really here for? Oh, you're there to interview the mayor and, you know, his inauguration.
Wow.
And then you're there to record and interview Babyface. And I'm like, okay, so I'm told it's casual, right? I'm told it's something casual, so I'm just wearing jeans, a shirt, like, you know, semi-nice, you know, but I was just like I am semi-nice right now. And I was just like, okay, cool. And then I show up and I'm like, you know, it's a good thing I'm a church girl. Okay, all of y'all that know me personally know, you know, I have like months of clothes in my car because I'm always going from one place to another. So I was like, oh, okay, Hefe. Had to go run to my car, change, put a dress on, put a blazer on, throw on my heels, and then walk back out. And then I'm like, I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? Like, you know, when those kinds of things happen. But I also, on the other side of it too, like you said, there's always both sides of the coin. The people who complain the most about nothing is coming their way are the ones that aren't networking, though, the ones that aren't happy people, the ones that aren't inspirational to others, the ones that are just kind of stuck in their little mental rut, you know, just going, oh, poor me, this is horrible, this is, you know, in country music they say that, you know, my dog died, my truck died, my girlfriend left me. You know, that's how country.
And do a little two-step.
Right, and that's how country music works. So if you shift your thinking, then doors open.
Yeah.
Even during the COVID time. I mean, I used a lot of the time after the big panic happened in March, because I was in LA in March and it was just starting to really start.
Yeah.
And people are getting crazy. And as you know, I go back and forth, and I thought to myself, well, this is a health issue. So what can I do to make myself more resistant to the virus?
Yeah.
I could do what nobody's saying to do, which is start working out. Work out. You know, that raises your immune system.
Yeah.
And then it's good for you.
Yeah.
Well, then on that side, then you got the guy who says, I can't work out because I can't go to the gym. Well, just get some stuff at home and work out at home.
Yeah.
Don't let the fact that the gym's closed, now you're going to Now I have an excuse to gain 50 pounds and sit and eat, Hostess cupcakes all night watching television.
And speaking of gaining pounds, he lost 30 pounds and he gave me the 30 pounds. So I'm just giving you a disclaimer right now.
I'm looking over there and I don't see him.
It's because your girl hide it well. See, there's those two people like we talked about. I'm like, okay, I still gain weight, but I wear a bigger shirt. Y'all,
Yeah.
you can't tell.
Hey, I got to make a quick announcement here because I did a bunch of texting earlier, letting my friends know and saying it's a call-in show, and now I have about 5 texts saying that I gave them a disconnected number. So I'm really sorry about that because I pulled it off of the internet and it said it was the number for the studio line at KUHS, and obviously it's not. So big apologies.
Studio line number. Can we get it? I don't remember it by heart.
Well, I've been looking at it here, and it's it's a number that seems to not be functioning. So,
or it might be because the phone's off. Maybe we didn't turn it on.
Oh well, that happens too. Or you got the classic girl excuse. Oh, I don't know what happened. My phone battery.
Well, here's my excuse. It's because this is an Apple. We're not Apple.
You're getting them to call them.
Am I?
Well, can we talk to anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Oh. She has
know,
the phone off.
it's because
I'm so glad it's not on me, man. I am so glad it's not on me.
This ain't my phone, though. Y'all.
That's okay.
I'm going to let you know that this Apple doesn't work. Code 5341 Macintosh, Apple, Walmart does not work.
Here, give it to Henry. Okay. So we have an update on the telephone. Our board op and our tech has come in, and he's taken the phone away from Melissa, so it will not be damaged any further.
Y'all, because I was getting on my rap game. Rob was like dropping the beat. I was like, all right, I'm about to make my move right here. Sign me.
So stay right there, everybody that's on the phone, because he just told us there's tons of calls coming in. I'm really sorry about that. We just got to yakking.
Yeah, we did. So I apologize, my bad. But you know what? We're going to fix it for y'all. So we're going to get your phone calls in. But while we're getting that fixed, I wanted to ask you something really quick. Because we've had a slideshow running in the back.
Yeah, what's going on with the slideshow?
Some of the people asked, what is Moesha doing back there? Mo to the E to the... So let us know about
Mo to the E to the.
Mo to the E to that.
You can tell them to call back in.
All right, okay, y'all. I'm giving you a disclaimer right now, though.
Yeah, you got to plug it in. So while she's doing that, I'll tell you guys about my time on the Moesha show. It was another example of one of those things where, they say luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And it was kind of like that. I had been working for CBS television on one of their late night drama series. And I don't remember the name of it now, but because I was in that studio band, they had a Nickelodeon show, and then they had this new thing on UPN network, which is just getting going, called Moesha, which of course starred Brandy. And she was being produced by Harvey Mason Jr., and so these booking agency people and studio people said, hey, Rob, why don't you come help us? Because on Moesha, we've got a lot of music cues, because the show is about a singer. It's not just an acting show. The show is about a singer. And we're going to need a lot of music, probably 40 cues, 50 cues a week. And Brandy's going to sing some of them herself, and some of them will just be background stuff. So what was funny about it for me is that there were just 3 of us on the team, and what I was mostly doing was things like when Brandy graduates high school, there's this whole thing going on with the graduation theme, and I had to compose that and record that on a virtual orchestra.
We got a caller.
Can we put him on the board?
I'm going to put you on. Caller, be patient with your girl, because, I don't know what I'm doing.
Henry's going to come over.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello?
Hold on. We're getting there.
We're getting the level set.
Okay. Can you hear him?
Yeah.
Okay. Caller.
I can hear you. Hopefully
We can hear you, caller.
Hello.
Who are you,
Hello.
caller? Let us
How's
know
it
who
going?
you are.
It's going great. This is David Day. Is this Planet Mullins?
Hey, it's Damon Day. What's up, Damon?
What's going on, Rob? How you doing today?
I'm just doing great, man. Thanks so much for tuning in to support my new single. It's been a fun time here with the lovely Melissa. And it's good to hear from you, man. Good to hear from you. What's going on with you?
Oh, man, I'm riding the countryside. I'm in New Jersey right now. You know, I'm a truck driver, so I'm roping, baby.
That's so great that you can, be a part of the show while you're in New Jersey. And I'm not much of a fan of New Jersey. I'll be honest.
Come on, Jersey. My Jersey shout out there. Don't let him treat you like that, Jersey.
Me neither, but I'm getting paid.
That's what you got to do, especially in the COVID time. This is a great R&B singer, Damon Day.
Damon Day, come on.
Yeah, so Damon, you need to send some of your music out here to the station, and we'll get together and get some of that to Melissa so she can vibe on your tunes, man.
Oh, man, that's great, man. That's beautiful, man. You know, I'm working on my new record right now.
Okay, cool. Love it. All right, man. Thanks for calling in. We're going to move to the next caller, bro. Thanks.
Okay, all right, thanks, man.
All right, peace.
Hey, bye, Melissa.
Bye, and I'm going to have you come by sometime.
Yeah, he's great. Damon is super cool. And he's actually featured on an album that I put out 2017 on iTunes, and then 2019 on, I put it out originally on CD, then I put it out in 2019 on iTunes. And it's a documentary about my friends in Venice Beach called Only in Venice, a documentary album. And Damon sings like really great on that. He's on the lead track, which is called Party All Night.
Thank you
And
for
we've done a
calling
lot of
KUHS.
stuff
Just
together.
Who do I have on the phone with me?
This is David Brunt.
Well, hey, David Brunt. How are you doing, David?
I'm doing good. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I have the lovely Melissa here today.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm doing good. I called to congratulate Rob on his new single tomorrow.
Wow, that's so nice of you, man. I really appreciate that because, you knowing so much about classical music and also jazz, I think you may be one of the few people that understands the arranging concept on this new single, because it's definitely not classical and a lot of it is definitely not jazz, but it all definitely is Rob Mullins, that's for sure.
Oh, man. That's the thing, hybrid, these hybrid crossover projects are where the business is going, I think.
Wow. Well, that's so cool, man. So, are you in LA? I hear it's going to be 117 in LA tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm in LA. I'm sitting in the studio, and I think it's 75 in here.
Well, that's, when you're that successful, this guy does very well. The temperature wherever you're at will be whatever you dang well want the temperature to be.
Oh, man.
All right.
Congratulations. I can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks so much for calling in.
Oh, you bet. Bye.
That's so nice of David to call in. He's a choral producer, and he had a giant concert with this huge classical choir and 8 lead singers, and all this set up for April.
Yeah.
And a lot of people from the Recording Academy, and it was just all canceled.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have more calls to call back?
We are getting, I'm not sure who's, let's see. Yeah, I'm not an Apple user, so I'm not sure how to use this phone.
Oh, are you a Samsunger?
I am, see,
Me
because
too,
the
man.
droids.
We're droiding, baby. We're droiding.
We got it going on.
Droid.
So those of you calling in on the lines, you could go ahead and keep calling in. we'll be picking it up. You know, we're gonna hang out for just a couple more minutes if that's okay with you, so we can get in some of those people that weren't able to call in because y'all girl, you know, didn't turn on the phone. So, you know, those of you that were trying to call in, go ahead and call in. If you get a busy tone, you know, that just means someone else is on the line. But go ahead and call in. And, you know, since we're waiting for some more callers, we're talking about the Moesha.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about Moesha. So when I got the call to do that, it was really thrilling a few years in that they were going to do a remake of I Love Lucy for a show.
Oh.
And it was all going to be in black and white, and John Stamos was going to be Ricky Ricardo.
Oh, what?
So, and they said, we need a piano player to be in the Ricky Ricardo orchestra. Because remember, I Love Lucy had the live band. And they said, do you want to do that? And I'm like, heck yeah, I want to do that. So I got involved in that in the rehearsals. And I was just kind of pinching myself, just going, man, you know, I'm looking at Brandy rehearsing these amazing dance moves over here, and then John Stamos and I are hanging out in the dressing room, and it was just, you know, that was like 98.
Yeah.
98, 99. And amazing things happen out in LA and Hollywood, and I've just been lucky to, you know, network with people and do that. So you can see from the Moesha screen grabs that are on the back there that the technology was really horrible for capturing anything. I had this horrible little computer that I was like feeding a VCR tape, you know, VHS tape in there and hitting pause, and the screen was going, okay, I'm ready to be screenshot right now. You get this picture that's about this big. But I have that feature, the Moesha feature article, and the Bruce Willis stuff, and the Crusader stuff, and the Hubert Law stuff, and all that on my website, which is planetmullins.com, planetmullins.com.
Yes.
So, and it's a pretty big website. I mean, there's about 1,200 pages of stuff.
Yeah. And, you know, before, like, you know, we're still waiting for phone calls to come in, so sorry, guys, for those of you that we missed in the beginning. But before, you know, the whole reason why you're on here today, well, I mean, just because you're an amazing person altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the main reasons is about your single. So let us know about that tomorrow, because it drops tomorrow, September 5th, y'all, and it's your rendition of Beethoven.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that and Beethoven. You know, the interesting thing for me is that I've always been musically focused, really tight focus on jazz and rock music. Because the first albums I got weren't classical. They were The Doors, their first album, and a Buddy Rich big band album. And I kind of stayed in those worlds for a long time. But once I got to be like in college and there was all these classical people around, I started listening to more classical, and that's when I really kind of found out about Beethoven. And Beethoven, the way that he thinks and the way that he writes is something that I structurally really understand. Yeah. It's like when you meet a person when you just feel comfortable or you don't, you know?
Yep.
That kind of thing. And with him, I was just like, I could sit and I could look at a whole Beethoven score of music, and I would just, and this is, I'm not playing the piano, I'm just looking at the music and I could hear it, and I could see where he was going to go, and I'm like, oh, excuse me. In a movement too, I'll bet you he's going to do like a ballad in the relative major. Boom, that's what he does. So, you know, I started learning those things. I did a jazzy version of Fur Elise.
Yeah.
I did a couple other, what did this person say about the call? Called and got no answer.
Oh, let's see. There's no one on the phone right now, so go ahead and call in, caller.
Yeah, or you can call them back. This would be a 949 number.
Okay.
But, you know, Beethoven had a huge impact on the world, and what interested me in terms of the broader view of Beethoven and music in general, folks, is that thank God we have a recording academy, right? Because if you go back and you read the Wikipedia on Beethoven, this is a guy who was doing a lot of church gigs. He had a lot of relationships going on. He had a lot of songs he was writing, a lot of big symphonies that he was doing, and people were only supposed to live to be 40 or maybe 50, and they had no way of recording anything. There was no technology in those days, so the manuscripts had to be super perfect, and they had to be passed. Like if you took piano and you're playing Beethoven, you would have to learn it exactly as the Beethoven protege because there's no album.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you know, it was like hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
So then when we got recording technology invented, I just thought it was brilliant that this group of people got together and started the Recording Academy, because it's the National Academy Recording Arts and Sciences. That's what the long version of the Grammys name is. And you just think of where we'd be, folks, if there were no Grammys and there was no recording society. Where would we all be? Because now, if you're a new user and you know you log onto your frickin' phone and you go to Apple Music, there's 60 million high-quality songs there to listen to. 60 million, and for a month, you can listen to 60 million things for free. And these things cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and took hundreds of years to perfect and decades for the practicing and the microphones and all that. So, you know, be glad that there is a Grammy Award thing. Please support the Academy. Support musicians, too, because all of us are struggling. Even people at, you know, higher levels than that I'm at, I'm seeing them, you know, trying to give away free music lessons on the internet. It's really sad.
Yeah.
Seeing people with like 10 Grammys going, hey man, do you want a guitar lesson or, you know, whatever. I'm just like, oh man. But it's really impacted all the artistic community, especially here in Denver, which I want to just kind of, you know, give a shout out to Dazzle and Donald over there, and Stu over at the Crimson Room, and Janet Poth, who had her wonderful place, La Cour, on South Broadway, and they weren't able to stay open.
Oh,
and I mean, this was just such a thriving jazz scene in January.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah.
There's stuff going on here. There's more bars. There was more great players. People were moving here in droves.
Yeah.
Good musicians were.
And it was starting to pick up in the jazz scene too, a lot. Like those that follow jazz, like I love jazz is one of the stuff that I love a lot. And so following it, you seen how the for Colorado anyway, so those who live here in Colorado, it was starting to become like a bigger thing over here, which is really cool and really nice to see. Yeah. Yeah,
because, you know, jazz has always kind of been one of those, in a way, it's a little more fringy and it's harder to get support for it.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to understand when the beat isn't clubbing you over the head.
Yeah.
Like, you know. So I remember when they first came out, it was called disco, and then in the 1970s, and it was the bass drum, and it was just like.
Yeah.
And then they renamed it techno. So they put a different keyboard part over the top, and it was still this. And, you know, then another 10 years went by, and they renamed it EDM. And guess what's in there?
Shameless plug, EDM on Tuesday nights.
And I don't have anything, good job. I don't have anything against EDM or any of these other genres, but part of why it's hard for people to follow jazz and support it and like it is because you got to participate. Like, this is mindless, instinctual. Your instincts in your body just going, right? It's like a hungry seal at SeaWorld that hasn't eaten all day. And, you know, jazz, the drums are really fluid. Like, you have to know a little something about music, and the bass player is laying down the beat that the drummer would do in EDM. And then the sax it could be a crazy melody, and the piano player's playing the chords, and it's just a different vibe entirely.
Yeah.
So when I did this Beethoven thing, I actually did it here in Denver with a great band. It's Joe Andries on alto flute, and it's Bijou Barbosa. That's a cool name.
That is a cool name.
Man, if I was going to be like a bass player and I needed a name,
right?
That'd be my name.
See, you were born to be that.
I was born to be Bijou Barbosa. Right? And it's Mike Marlier on drums. He's the head of percussion studies at DU. And it's from a live thing that we did at Dazzle a couple of years ago. So it's an interesting take on Beethoven. I improvise on the structure of the song at the beginning, and in today's like rapid fire world, I don't know how many young people are going to be able to go, when is this going to start? Because he's already been playing the piano.
They're like, hold on, a couple more minutes. He's coming in. Hold on. Almost there. Come on.
Oh, almost there. And it goes into a nice beat. It's a Latin, like a nice kind of soft bossa nova that sounds really NPR.
Yeah.
Like when the whole band's playing, you just hear like, all things considered. coming up Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on NPR. You hear that voice, you know, it sounds like that. And it's just going to be fun for me to see how people react tomorrow when it drops. Because it should be, usually what happens is it happens right after midnight on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So that's going to be 10 o'clock here tonight. You should be able to find it.
Oh, okay.
You know, on iTunes and Amazon and Spotify. And what's the other ones, man? There's so many.
There's everything.
There's still Pandora. There's
Pandora.
iHeartRadio.
Yes.
You know who's still around that I just found out they're still around is Napster.
Yes, they are.
I'm like,
they're actually pretty popular.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I think they're making a comeback. You know. But I think in COVID, a lot of things are making a comeback. Cheese
enchiladas.
Cheese enchiladas.
And having food delivered to your house.
Yes.
Right.
Get on them Uber Eats. And, did you want to call that number? We could call it?
Yeah, let's call them. Is it 949?
It wasn't on here, but I could add it in here if you want to. We could, let me hand it over to you.
Oh, don't give me that thing.
Okay.
No.
We ain't touching it.
No.
Okay.
I ain't getting in the middle of your mess, girl.
I know.
That's your, that whole thing is your mess.
This thing's bad.
But I'm sorry, everybody. We had a little technical glitch here. And Rita, I see that you tried to call in and there was no answer. But thanks for your support. That's my friend Rita from L.A. And we also, Shirley tried to call, Judy tried to call, Deborah tried to call.
Well, if you want to call, the lines are still open, so you could go ahead and call in. And now that people are, you know, we can still wait. Nothing's rung. The phone hasn't rang yet, so I've been watching it. But I know you have a list of shout-outs.
Oh, I got to do the shout-outs.
That you want to do.
Yeah.
So we can do those shout-outs right now as well. We don't want you to miss out on that. And
I got to be sure I get that in before
we got to make sure. And, you know, I just want to reiterate just a little bit, because when we're talking about supporting local artists, and I just want to throw it out there real quick, but local artist Ernest Washington, who's out there, it is his birthday today.
Oh, man, I know.
So,
I heard his music.
Yeah, happy birthday, Ernest. And, you know, his single, My Only, is out there. Go show him some love for his single, My Only, that's out there. Give him some birthday love. All that support helps. So support your local artists. So happy birthday, Ernest. You know, I would sing the happy birthday song, but, you know.
Happy birthday. Come on. Happy birthday.
Okay, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ernest. Happy birthday to you. And much more airplay.
Yay.
All right, cool. Yep. Okay, we're jumping to my shout-outs. Brad, Deb, Mel, Beth, Connie, Julianne, Judy 1, Judy 2, Julie, Shirley, Caitlin, Liam, Andrew, Joe, Roberto, and Kirsch. Nathan, Brian, Craig, Phil, Joel, Jimmy, Damon again, Stan, Vinny, Rachel, Christy, JJ, David, Danae, Daniel, Marianne, Greg, Kiki, Michael, Willen, Carol, Albert.
Almost.
Roberto, Grant, Suzanne, and Monique. All
Come
right.
On.
Thank all you guys for supporting me online, and especially on Facebook where everything is crazy. And I also wanted to let you guys know, and I'm making this kind of a surprise to Henry, I think, because we've both been so busy we couldn't get connected. And then if we put somebody like you in the middle of it, if we put somebody like, she says, get the phone, like Melissa in the middle of it, then anything could happen.
You gotta actually have the headsets on to hear me.
Oh, good. Put your headset on. So Henry, you should. Why don't you pop in here for just a second? Because I want to think about something. Okay, but anyway, I wanted to tell you guys that I brought my checkbook today, and I'm writing a check to the station for support of my career and my music and my musical family. That includes Kiki Valera and a few other people. But Henry has been right there in the trenches with me since December when he first put me on the air, and every week he plays a Rob Mullins song. He gives me a shout out. He shows me some love. He's got a giant thing happening here in this community, and in fact, he was responsible for me doing the voiceovers for Ignite with Melissa.
Ignite with Melissa. I got an exclusive from Rob Mullins. I was like, okay, come on, just you play that every 2 seconds. Forget all the other hosts here. Yeah. You just throw that Rob Mullins on for Ignite with Melissa. Come on, somebody.
So I'm writing a check now, donation to the station, and It's not my checkbook. I stole it at McDonald's parking lot. But I think I'm going to get away with forging a signature. Why not?
We can do it.
What day is it? It's the 4th?
It's 2020. Well, yes, your single comes out tomorrow.
Oh, right.
Yes,
But today's the
the
4th. Okay, so it's 9/4/20.
And that's just so amazing. I want to say thank you on behalf of KUHS because, you know, Henry's out there running my phone issues.
He's just cleaning up your mess.
I know. See, today we ignited it all. I ignited the phones to go off the hook, you know, the thing. It's, yo, girls just having issues today. So we just want to say thank you guys. I'm not blaming the station. I'm blaming myself, okay? So we just want to say thank you, though, for all of you that tried to call in. For those that did call in, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And, you know, we appreciate you. And
I'm happy
so
to be. I'm happy to be still, you know, doing this as a career and as a main job. And I always feel so at home when I come into the station here because you guys are all super easy to work with. You're not very good with technology, you personally.
Me.
But
no, you know.
but you know, there's been so much airplay and so many good comments, and you guys have helped me out with other artists that I try and support, and you've been like an extended part of my radio and TV family. And I just want to thank you for that. So. Well,
we thank you, and you know you're amazing, and your stuff, like all your music is amazing. There's one in here. I'm really bad with names, so forgive me, y'all, because all of you know that I'm bad with song names. I just know the jam. But there's a remix that you did that's so good.
Soulful.
Yes, it's so good, so awesome. One of my favorites, and I love it. And, you know, just so amazing. Your music, you're talented. I love the piano, and so my brother, who just recently passed away, he was an amazing piano player.
Wow!
And so I was kind of jealous of him because I can play the piano, but not like him. Like he just had those hands, like how you guys have your gifted hands, and you guys just move along. So I love piano. I've always loved like music growing up, classical music, the jazz music.
It's great.
Me and my sister hit all those shows when we can. So love what you do. And just so honored to have you on today. And y'all, he's so amazing. Yes.
Well, thanks for a fun show. And remember, the single drops tomorrow. It's called Sonata Pathetique MvMt II. And it's under my Sonata Pathetique MvMt II. This is the pre-tequila speech, so, you know. And one other thing is that it's Lakers and the Rockets tonight, and go Nuggets. I know the Nuggets got beat. They got beat like last night in the opening game of their series with the LA Clippers, but I don't like the Clippers.
You know, come on, Nugs.
Yeah,
we got
come
you,
on,
Nuggets.
Nuggets.
Let's go. We're rooting for you. I
want those. I want those Lakers. I want to see the Lakers and the Nuggets. That would be cool.
That'd be awesome. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be really good. So I got a date with a television screen at 7:00 tonight because that game's going to come on.
Yes.
And you know, congratulations on your show and everything about you. And you know, call me in a couple hours after you drink the rest of that Mountain Dew and let me know what gym you're at, what treadmill you're on.
I'll be like, I'm in my car. My car gym.
That's cool too. Well, sometimes I carry like a little dumbbell on the side in the passenger seat when I'm driving through Utah, and I'm like, 920 more miles to go, Wilbur. All right. Oh, set it down and take a picture.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool, man. So, thanks again.
Thank you so much. And, you know, before you leave, before you head out, we're going to head out, guys. I know we're a little over time today, and so I thank you for being here. What is one thing, a piece of advice that was told to you that's always stuck with you, that you would want to share with our audience, that maybe it would inspire somebody and stick with them as well?
Yeah, that's a thing that I always have a few responses for that, and I'll just use because some of them are like really serious and some of them are a little more comical or edgy, but I'd have to say a really good piece, this is a Midwestern piece of advice, which is avoid skunks, porcupines, and squid people.
And as he looks at me.
Do you have any idea what a squid person is?
You know, the person who tries to take everything from you.
The person that comes into the meeting where everything's happy and then they spray ink all over it and disrupt and destroy everything. Don't be around those people.
You know we got some of them at work too. Come on.
Right, everybody kind of does. And then, you know, I had a great mentor in Wilton Felder, who was saxophone player for the Crusaders. That was a big gig for me. And he kind of took me under his wing. And one thing that he told me is he said, whatever you do in music and your life, be sincere and be convincing. So if you don't know that song and you're going to get up there and play it, go practice it so that you can put it out, so that you can put it across confidently. Like, don't pretend. Don't fake your emotions. Don't pretend your music. Be sincere and be convincing about it, and then people will respond. So there's a couple.
So good. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
All right.
And yo, man, Rob Mullins signing out with yo girl Melissa. And as always, thank you for tuning in, guys. We went a little over, but we had so much fun in the studio today.
It was great.
And if no one's told you today, you know, I always want to tell you that you have purpose, you are loved, and you belong. So yo, man, and yo girl Melissa signing out on KUHS Denver, the stream Ignite with Melissa. Love, peace, and God bless y'all.